Thank you, Zandile. Very good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know that we've got people from all over South Africa, so I'm really excited about today, particularly about what Nicolette will be sharing a bit later on. Yeah, guys, as Zandile said, my name is Luphumlo Joka, originally from Middleburg, Cape, but I'm based in Port Elizabeth, and I have the honor and pleasure of being part of this amazing team of innovative young leaders that want to make a meaningful contribution to society through a rapid economic transformation thing that is aligned to entrepreneurship and leadership, if that makes any sense to all of you. And I think Zandile gave a brilliant description of what exactly we're trying to do, but maybe let me speak more to that before I just get into the message or some of the thoughts that I'd like to share with all of you, just as a foundation of the next 2 days. Global Leadership Consultants is a leadership and business development firm that we started 6-7 years ago. And it was started because of a vision and a dream that God had given us and that we got. But the importance of such a gathering really for us is really about sharing the story and inspiring more people who are just like us, who are from the township and who want to make a meaningful, lasting legacy and a meaningful impact in their separate communities. So that's one of the reasons we put our heads together and thought, how can we come together? How can we bring township entrepreneurs together? Maybe at this point, this might not be the best way to do it, but I think it's definitely a start of something greater that is coming. And I hope that makes sense to all of you. I want to speak to you very briefly just about building a township dream. And I want to reference our story as global leadership consultants and some of the work that we've done in the Eastern Cape and in other parts of South Africa as well. And I want to also title this 6 ideas that can help you build better township entrepreneurs. 6 ideas that can help build better township entrepreneurs. And I pray and hope that these ideas will resonate with you and you'll take something and you'll go and apply it so that you yourself, and I would assume that those of us who are on this platform are township entrepreneurs or are people that have the ambition of, or the vision or the desire of being a township entrepreneur. And what I want to do and what I want to try to do is really relate this and make this as practical as possible and share a bit about where we come from and what we've done and some of the challenges that we've faced. So as I said in the beginning, quite some time ago, we felt a burden to start a leadership and entrepreneurship development firm. And at that time, it was mainly a leadership development firm because there was a huge problem that we saw in society. And the problem that we saw in society had to do with the lack of authentic, real leaders that love people, that want to make a meaningful impact in society, that are building for the next generation, and that are able to put people first. So that desire in us was birthed from that burden that we felt and the burden that we saw and what we were seeing that time. And at that time, we were in varsity. And, if you look at some of these universities, and if you look at some of the budgets that the SRC has, there was a demonstration of a lack of authenticity in that context that then led us to say, how can we do something about what we are seeing? And that was how Global Leadership Consultants was birthed. And then as time went on, we then started to incorporate the entrepreneurship element to this vehicle, this aeroplane that we had built. And it has been an amazing journey. So we have been fortunate enough to have done some work with NGOs where we design and implement certain programs, where we've done some work with schools and universities, where we design leadership and entrepreneurship programs, particularly for young people, because I really believe with all of my heart that young people are the key. And I'm not saying it as a cliche saying, but I believe it deep in the heart of my heart that young people hold some of the solutions that will unlock this country's economic potential. So in getting started, I want to share with you 6 things that can help you and I, 6 practical things that can help you and I to become better township entrepreneurs. And I know that Nicolette later on, when she comes on, will speak more to the financial side of entrepreneurship, particularly township entrepreneurship, and in us handling all of our finances and some of the financial decisions that we ought to make. And I welcome your comments and your questions in the comment section, and to the people that are joining us on Facebook as well. Now, if we look at idea number 1, I really believe that one of the ways that we can build stronger township entrepreneurs is through building stronger support structures that are not political. And these are thoughts that I just want to share with you, that you can just muse on and think about and see in our conversations, in our different corners, how can we make these things practical and how can we implement these things? So thought number 1, or idea number 1, is building stronger support structures that are not political, So I believe and I feel that once as business people, as community leaders who are from different townships all over South Africa, once we embark on this project of building stronger support structures that are not political, we would then enable a conducive environment and culture for township entrepreneurs to thrive. I think one of the most gruesome and most sad things, speaking from personal experience, is that when you start a business as a person from the townships, firstly, there's a huge generational gap and different thought processes between our parents and us. So they would then expect us to go the traditional route, go to school, go get a job, and live a happily ever after kind of lifestyle. And you are saying, and I don't know if any of you have ever felt like that, and you are thinking, number 1, okay, I want to go to school, but I want to start something. I don't want to go and work for someone. I want to start something of my own. And what often happens in that context is that the first backlash you get backlash, or you are questioned by the very people that you love in your own home. So when we speak about building stronger support structures, we're speaking about enabling or conscientizing or telling our parents and our communities and our leaders in different spheres of government or in different spheres of society in our townships that we have to be able to support entrepreneurs. We have to be able to support the notion of entrepreneurship. We have to be able to build structures and forums that will not associate themselves with any political party, but that will only associate themselves with the vision of capacitating entrepreneurs. I don't know if that makes any sense to any of you. So the first idea is you and I. So I'm going to just ask you as you're coming in to please just mute yourself. Sandile, if you can help me by just muting the people that are coming in as well. So the first idea, colleagues and friends, is that you and I must start to now talk about this. How do we build stronger support structures for entrepreneurs in our townships that are not politically affiliated? I think most of the structures that we have currently have some political affiliation, whether it happens deliberately or not. Like if you look at all of the business structures, your NAFCOGs, maybe your BMF and all of these other structures, there is to a certain, whether maybe it happens accidentally, where there is a certain caliber of people that would dominate in that space or that structure, but the structures that we have, the forums that we have are at times very, very political. So idea number one is let's build stronger structures that are not political. The second idea or thought I'd like to share with all of you is the need to integrate township SMMEs into the formal value chain. I think you and I will both agree that when we think about township entrepreneurs, that word is synonymous with the informal sector for some reason or the other. So I think part of the things and part of the conversations that we have to have is saying, how do we capacitate our township entrepreneurs? How do we capacitate our parents, our people in the townships to so that they get to a place where they are able to add value or participate, in formal value chains. So how do we get them to, understand the importance of being compliant and being registered, so that they get to a place where they are, they have some sort of access to all of these channels? Because at the moment, you will get very little access to these type of formal value chains if you are an informal business. So part of, I think, one of the ideas or one of the thoughts that you and I within our own spaces in the townships can then start to introduce is, as people, as entrepreneurs, how do we integrate township SMMEs into formal value chains? Now, the third idea, and for me, which is one of the most important ideas, because this is what our business is built on, this is what drives us, this is what enables us to do what we do. The third idea is the importance of having visionary leadership from all spheres of society. I think this is one of the key things that we need within our townships that will help us to unlock certain things within this whole conversation of township, entrepreneurship. How do we cultivate, or how do we put the right people in the right spaces so that they can enable a culture of visionary leadership? Excuse me. So visionary leadership from all spheres of society becomes an important element, or an important role player in us as township entrepreneurs, coming together and building something or partaking in something that will empower the next generation. Excuse me. So the first idea, if I can just do a recap for the people that have just joined us, is if we want to unlock or build better township entrepreneurs, number one, we must build stronger support structures that are not political. And these support structures must be built for township entrepreneurs. In other words, it mustn't be an ANC-aligned support structure or DA-aligned. It must just be a forum or a support structure for entrepreneurs. And a great example here is what some NGOs are doing. I mean, we're doing work now with a great NGO in Walmer Township, and the kind of support that entrepreneurs get in Walmer Township in Gqeberha is out of this world. And that NGO is not aligned to any government department, so there's no external pressure from the government to meet certain expectations or to vote a certain way. The second idea is, I said, we need to integrate township SMMEs into formal value chains. So how do we get township entrepreneurs who are doing what they're doing and who have the skill, who have the know-how, who've got the businesses? How do we get them to be included in formal value chains? And I think that's the other idea that I'd like to leave with youth. And the third one was, we need visionary leadership from all spheres of society. We need visionary leadership from all spheres of society. People that can see 10, 20 years down the line. People that are thinking not for the next election, but for the next generation. People that are building businesses and institutions.
Watch your phone.
People that are building institutions for the next generation. So that is the type of visionary leadership that we need. And we've got amazing leaders in our townships. We've got amazing people that have emerged from townships that are doing amazing things in all parts of South Africa. The fourth idea that I'd like to share with you is that we need to change townships from labor reserves, largely consumption-based, into productive hubs that attract investment. And one of the ways that I believe we can do that links to the point before this is by having visionary leadership, people who are going to implement certain programs, who are going to impart a certain way of thinking, who are going to lead young people in a certain way to such an extent that we ourselves start to believe that we don't have to leave our townships in order for us to be successful. We don't have to go and build our businesses in Sandton. We can build a strong, sustainable enterprises within our townships. And there are amazing stories out there and case studies that you can look at. Like if you look at the story of where some of these people started, if you look at Upatu, where Upatu started in Alexandra Township. Is it still in Alexandra Township? I don't know. That's a story for another day. So how do we then question some of these things and get these budding businesses to remain in townships, And at this moment, what you'll see is that the culture is most businesses or most investment in certain townships are malls. So there are a lot of malls and there are a lot of these other brands, your Markhams and your Edgarses that would come into townships. And development at times seems to be centered around that model. And what we are proposing, and one of the ideas that we want to just spread is the idea of township entrepreneurs building their base from their own townships, running their businesses from their own townships. And I hope that resonates with some of you as much as it resonates with me. Now, the fifth idea is us needing forward-thinking and resilient township entrepreneurs that have a passion for township markets, okay? Forward-thinking, resilient township entrepreneurs that have a passion for township markets. So we need forward-thinking people. And these forward-thinking people who have visionary leadership are not people that must leave our townships and go and do something elsewhere. We need to be strategic about how we retain talent in our township, how we retain talent, how we retain leaders in our township, so that all of these people that are forward-thinking and that are visionary can have a space of implementing some of these ideas within our different townships. So I think this is one of the important elements of how we can take part in this whole notion of building or rebuilding the township economy or township entrepreneurs. And the final thing that I'd like to leave with all of you and that I'd like to share with you is this whole notion of a revival of social entrepreneurship in our townships. We can't run away from the facts that, or from the point that entrepreneurs, particularly that are from townships, have a social responsibility. If you're building a business and your business becomes successful in the township, there are implications that are attached to that business. You'll create jobs within your township. You'll inspire people within your township. and there will be some level of eradication of inequality and poverty because of that business. So we then need to always be conscientized as township entrepreneurs to the reality of the social aspect or the social responsibility that we have towards our townships, towards the businesses that we build in all certain parts of South Africa. So I think that we need a revival of social entrepreneurs. We need more social entrepreneurs that will have a heart for their communities. We need township entrepreneurs that will have a heart for their communities, that will keep going back to their communities and not just give back. You know, the type of giving back that you see now is a camera-friendly type of giving back. When we give back, we want cameras there because we want the whole world to see that we are donating shoes. Now, and the kind of revival that we are speaking about is that of not just giving tangible solutions or tangible things in the form of shoes and soup kitchens. We want people, successful people, leaders and visionary leaders to give back in the form of imparting knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, so that that lady down the road who wants to build a similar business than yours can be empowered and equipped to do something that you are doing, and so that you can then mentor, you know, which is another point. You can mentor the upcoming and the rising stars so that they can also take part in this whole conversation of township entrepreneurship. So I hope that this makes a lot of sense to some of you, and I hope that it resonates with some of you. I think that South Africa is a beautiful country, that we've got something great going on. But I believe that there are sleeping giants that must be woken. And those sleeping giants are township entrepreneurs that have the power to change their own situations, to change their own circumstances through building sustainable enterprises. And I hope this makes sense. So these were just 6 ideas that can help us and that can help you to build better township entrepreneurship. Thank you so much, colleagues, for your time and for paying attention to this. And we can welcome maybe any questions or any comments based on all of these things that I am saying. Zandile, over to you.
Thank you very much, Luphumlo. And I do think that some of the major key points, especially these 6 ideas that you've mentioned, they fit in very well into some of the social issues that we have in our society. And these kind of ideas now then helps us to be able to elevate some sort of progress in our townships, because some of the things that many people probably never give too much thought in how township economy can grow, or is currently a growing sector in the South African economy. So this is quite interesting, and I love the visionary leadership aspect that you've kind of mentioned right now, because that then allows us to, because now we are also part of these people that are trying to build the holistic township entrepreneurship entrepreneurs, sorry. So the visionary part of it gives us a great scope and a great view of what the township dream could be like. Because I've recently saw on Facebook, there's been in Cape Town, back in Cape Town, Ace has now opened, or is going to open, Ace and his wife is opening a luxury hotel. I think it's a 5-star hotel, which is impeccable and quite impressive, because that is an investment to the place where people are, and we don't have to now commute to go to way far places in order for us to enjoy some of the things that are outside our community. Okay, we do have some engagement here. Luphumlo, maybe you can maybe engage with Utumeleng Lepota. I hope I said that right. So Dumaleng is saying that in our labor to capacitate entrepreneurs in the township, packing township offerings and migrating them into the formal sector, we must be prepared to battle first with mentality migration, which is often not easy. That is actually very true. So Luphumlo, maybe you can take this.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I also saw that Mr. Olwam is also here on this platform. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Olwam. He's the director and the founder of the Black Hat Group, and they're doing amazing work in the leadership space as well around the Eastern Cape and around the country. And maybe if he's also open, he can maybe answer the question. No, Itumeleng, mental migration is a key thing, because you can't take people to a place that they're not willing to envision in their mind. So I think part of, and I think earlier on, that's why I alluded to mental capacitation, that we, and I spoke about the idea or notion of us always, when we think about giving back, we think about going and giving out. When we think about giving back, we think about going out and giving out shoes and soup kitchens and all of those things. And what we are calling and what we are submitting today is, let's think about giving back in a different light. And let's think about giving back in the light of us imparting understanding, imparting knowledge, and imparting wisdom to the next person. I've got so many friends where I'm from in Middleburg Cape that are not where I am currently, and that don't enjoy some of the things that I enjoy currently, precisely because either they could not finish school or life happened and all of that. So my responsibility, which is something that I'm working on, is how can I go and capacitate those people mentally first, so that they start to think a certain way, so that they start to process things a certain way. Because essentially entrepreneurs are people that think differently. Entrepreneurs are people that see things differently. So one of the burdens that I have when in answering your question is saying, how can I capacitate people so that they first migrate in their mind, they first migrate in how they see things, they first migrate in how they view life, they first migrate in how they view themselves. Because if they don't escape poverty mentally, if they don't escape inequality or joblessness mentally, chances are that thing will always be in them, even if they have a job, even if they have a business. If that mindset is still there, when they get money, they'll want to splash it on all sorts of things, So I think, Itumeleng, that's a brilliant point that I agree with 100%. And I'll just, with your permission, Zandile, I'll just take those other two comments as well. From Fanny, so saying thank you for the insights.
Sure thing.
Is there currently a platform to share and impart knowledge via the global leadership consultants? Fanny, so definitely, we can definitely chat about how we can do something like that. And you can just directly message Zandile and she can see how we can connect and do more stuff together. So I see Nicolette has joined us, so she's online. So I think, I hope the message that we are sharing and the sentiments that we are sharing and the ideas that we are sharing resonate with some. These are simple things. I mean, these are not difficult things or difficult concepts or difficult ideas. It is just about us owning our success, us owning our economy, us owning our businesses, and us possessing more pride in who we are, to such that we are enabled not by the next person, but we are enabled by ourselves to build these type of businesses that will create the change that we want to see. I think, Zandile, there's just one more question from iPhone.
Yes, you can. You can take that actually, Luphumlo. Yes, you can unmute yourself, iPhone. It's unfortunate that the name is written here, iPhone. So you can unmute yourself and you can go ahead.
Oh, sorry for that name. And good morning to everyone. I hope that you guys are good. I'm having a question here to ask if is it possible by any chance that you guys do not focus on like people that are already entrepreneurs, but rather others that do want to be entrepreneurs? For instance, someone who has an idea to become an entrepreneur, but doesn't know exactly where to start or how to go about. So do you have such programs that develop and enhance such people, like to mentor them from where they could start and the processes that they could take to reach success?
Definitely, we do that. Miss iPhone, I don't know, I didn't get your name. I really apologize. We definitely do that. And that's in fact, that is part of our focus area. So when we do work with NGOs, we always go and look for the ones that have the ideas but don't exactly know how to implement them. And I'll make you a practical example of a gentleman in another location that came on in one of our programs that had an idea and that had tried that idea, but it had failed several times. Through the mentorship and through the assistance and through us enabling him to unlock the tools that are already inside of him, he was then able to, build a nice business that has now accessed funding from NYDA, and he's in the process of also applying for another fund as well from the Eastern Cape Department, the Premier's office. So we definitely do that. I think we can maybe pause there. I think the purpose of today is not really about me and these ideas. This was just a foundation for the type of thinking that we would like to see more in our townships and in our communities. So Zandile, I'll just hand over to you because Nicolette is here and would love to hear what she has to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I thought actually, Luphumlo, you were going to read this comment as well.